Hi, I'm Laura the ADHD Mama, and I'm here to talk to you today about claiming your space as a person with an invisible disability. I have ADHD and learning disabilities. ADHD is not considered a disability, but a neurobiological condition. And quite frankly, it is definitely disabling. So I'm going to categorize it just for this talk, saying invisible disability. I know it doesn't fall under that category, it's just make things simple. I had to learn to claim my space as a woman. And part of that was accepting the fact that I have ADHD. In order to be able to claim your space, you need to live in the top two sections of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But often people that have invisible disabilities end up getting stuck in the orange middle section of love and acceptance. This is because on average, people that have invisible disabilities hear 20,000 more negative responses to who they are as a person compared to their peers only by the age of 12. Now, when you go to my age, it's more like 55,000 more negative responses. And that makes you feel awful as a person. Let's use marbles as an example. Marbles can represent all the things we need to get done as people. Remembering to do the laundry, pick up the kids, finish that report, do homework. Everyone is juggling marbles. Neurotypicals carry their marbles in imaginary purses. But someone with ADHD is not born with the invisible bag to hold the marbles. Instead, I already dropped one, shoot. They're stuck trying to juggle their marbles as they're getting things done. And sometimes marbles drop, they forget things. It's much harder to handle your life. Now, medication for ADHD, like having all your marbles in a clear baggie, and they're all contained, but people can still see them. By the time evening rolls around and the ADHD medication wears off, the person is back to juggling their marbles in their hands. It happened to me in a really embarrassing situation where someone called me out on my disability in front of other people. I was teaching a class, and a student asked me to go across the classroom with him to pick up a piece of paper, because that's the paperwork he needed. We're walking along, and then halfway across the room, someone stops me and starts talking to me and asking me questions. So instead of walking, I stop and I answer. The man that was trying to get me to go all the way across the room to the paperwork got so frustrated. God, can't you just walk and talk at the same time? No, sorry. That's a great example of actually a pretty extreme negative response to someone around you. I had already pre-warned that class when teaching that I have ADHD and I have a bad memory and I forget things and I get distracted. And I was teaching an organization that I assumed would have had some training or knowledge of ADHD. If you look at that triangle again of love and acceptance, I was not being accepted for having my disability. Now let's pretend this is a slightly different scenario and that guy was getting frustrated at someone in a wheelchair. God, can't you just walk up those stairs? It was inappropriate that this man got that frustrated with me. But he couldn't see that this is actually a disability, that it was my condition causing me not to be able to walk and talk at the same time. I was not trying to annoy him. I was actually feeling pretty good about my teaching that day. And his comment crushed me. I didn't feel accepted in the business community. I didn't feel accepted as an instructor, and it truly hurt. Love and acceptance. That is the place where most people get stuck. When you have an invisible disability, that makes it more difficult for you to be accepted. The more education and the more acceptance that happens around invisible disabilities, the less likely these scenarios will be. And won't that be a beautiful world? I am Laura the ADHD Mama, and I'm here to claim my space as a woman with an invisible disability. Thank you.